Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 219, and a very warm welcome to some new stations joining us for the first time this week. I'm thrilled that Tech It Out is now part of the WTBQ WGHT family of stations in the NYC, Northern Jersey, Penn and Orange County, New York areas as well. Hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know on social media what you think. I'm hanging out on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. It's Mark Saltzman, Mark with a C, S-A-L-T-Z-M-A-N. Speaking of social media, what do you think of Facebook's new name? Yes, one of the most used products in history has changed its name to Meta. That is, the parent company is now known as Meta, perhaps a rebranding to shed away some of the negative press the company has received lately, including a whistleblower leaking documents that allegedly prove Facebook knew spreading misinformation was good for business. Meta, by the way, will focus on mixed reality, a fusion of virtual reality and augmented reality for work, play, and communication and more, mixed with mobile devices and the mobile web, all of this together. Very interesting, I have to say, the metaverse, as it's often referred to. But let me know what you think. Again, I'm on social media. Drop by and say hi. All right, to celebrate the end of October and the beginning of a new month, we have a spooktacular show for you this hour. We're going to start off with Epson in a moment. They'll chat with us about its FastFoto scanner that can digitally scan your paper photos in about 1 per second. This is perfect for people who have tons of paper photos in albums, frames, or shoeboxes, and they need to bring them into the 21st century. After that, we learn about a new video game system for kids that promotes exercise and education. It's called TekyGo, and it has some ambitious plans, as we'll hear about here as well, but should address the issues that many parents have with, kids lying on the couch, on the sofa, lying around, playing video games for hours on end. Plus, it's not only kid-friendly content they're playing, but educational as well. And speaking of games, we're going to end off with a new Temple Run game for Apple Arcade, which is playable on iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, and Mac. Temple Run is a franchise that's celebrating its 10th anniversary, and these games have been downloaded to mobile devices more than 2 billion times. Now there's a new game, Temple Run Puzzle Adventure, and this time it's a puzzle game rather than an action game. It's one of those match 3-like puzzlers, kind of like Candy Crush, but adds more adventure to it, as we'll hear towards the end of the show. All of this and more on a brand new episode of Tech It Out, powered by Asus for those in search of incredible. I'll tell you more about them shortly, but let's officially kick off the show with our first interview. With the popularity of smartphone photography, sometimes referred to as phonography, as well as social media like Instagram and Facebook, you may forget it wasn't that long ago that we had photo albums and frames and shoeboxes filled with paper photos. So how do you bring those precious memories into the 21st century to preserve them, touch them up, and make them instantly shareable? We're now going to learn about the FastFoto line of scanners from Epson that makes the process a simple one. We're joined on the line by Dan McMillan, product manager of retail scanners at Epson. Welcome to the show, Dan. Good to chat with you.
Thanks, Mark. Glad to be here.
Great. So the FastFoto scanners aren't a flatbed scanner, correct? I know Epson makes those as well. I have an all-in-one that has that. But what is the FastFoto part all about, please?
Yeah, so FastFoto is the combination, taking all of our knowledge and technology and document scanners, which can feed lots of sheets quickly, along with all of our expertise in scanning photos with flatbed and putting them together. So you end up with the ability to scan a big stack of photos really quickly, high quality, and saves you a lot of time.
All right. So the name of the product is FastFoto, and we should tell our listeners it's spelled F-A-S-T-F-O-T-O. But the idea is the same. It's like a high-speed scanner that you might use for documents, but this is specifically designed for photos, right? And how big could they be? Like 4x6, 5x7?
Yeah, that's right. So we can do 4x6s, 5x7s, 8x10s even.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have panoramics, we can do those as well.
All right. So you feed the photos into the FastFoto and you press a button, or you click something on your computer and it just does its thing?
You can do it either way. So we have desktop software. You could activate the scan that way. We have a mobile app that you could use as well to scan right into your phone, or you can press the button on the scanner to start the scan. Your choice.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you more about the app in a moment. But if you can confirm, please, Dan, the model number we're talking about here. Is it the 680W photo scanner?
That's right. Yeah, it's the FF680W.
Okay. Again, FastFoto is the name of the brand. 680W is your latest photo scanner. And because this is radio, can you walk us through like what it looks like and how many photos can you stack to have it digitize all at once?
So the scanner itself is about 12 inches wide and about 7 inches deep. So it sits on your desk, a little smaller than a piece of paper, and stands up about 6 inches tall.
Okay.
And you can load up to 36 photos at a time.
All right. So up to 36 photos. So the idea is, like I said in my introduction, Dan, you can open up that shoebox or you can take those photos out of a frame or out of an album and then just stack them.
Yeah, that's right. So you're able to just take stacks of photos, put them in, press a button or select from software, and you'll scan those really, really quickly. Go through up to 1 per second.
Okay, so hence the name FastFoto. So 1 second per photo. And that is what kind of quality are we talking? I know it's usually measured in DPI, right? Dots per inch?
That's right. So you can go up to 1,200 dots per inch with the FastFoto. And it also has auto enhancement. You can select in the options, but you've got auto enhancement, auto red eye reduction, things like that built right in.
Yeah, that's really cool that you can fix up those old photos. But also, sentimentally speaking, people often will write something on the back of the photo. Maybe they'll discuss the memory, or maybe it's given to you by a relative. Can you also scan the back of the photo?
Absolutely. So you can set up the FastFoto to detect automatically or always scan the backs of photos, but the scanner is set up to be able to do exactly that. So you're preserving those memories, whatever notes you have, they get captured in the same pass right as the image is being captured of the photo.
Huh. Can you explain that a bit more? So you don't have to flip it around? Like, how does it, so it knows to scan both sides?
That's right. So it has a sensor, 2 sensors within the FastFoto. And so as it goes through, it feeds it. It scans both sides right at the same time.
Oh, very cool. Tell us more about the app. So I think this is new, if I'm not mistaken, or at least recently updated. But there is an Epson FastFoto app. And I think you hinted earlier that you could scan right to your phone if you like.
Yeah, that's right. So we just launched the app in September. We're really excited about it. And you can do an easy Wi-Fi setup using the app. And you can scan right to the phone. And then even more than that, beyond capturing and preserving the memories from like the backs of the photos, you can be actually sharing narration and creating stories to share the stories behind your photos.
That's really neat. So you can do that through the app, and that's for both iPhone and Android?
That's right. Yep. Available for free, iOS and Android.
So again, using the app, you can tell stories tied to the photos that you're scanning, and the audio is recorded along with the photos, and then you can hold that on your phone or share it. Is that right? Right from within the Epson app?
Yeah, so we added a My Stories feature, so you can easily record the stories behind the photos, either your stories or you could capture the voice of a loved one. And then these create video files right out of the app that you can share just as you would any video you take on your phone. So use the native share menus, share it on out to whoever you want.
We are chatting with Dan McMillan, product manager of retail scanners at Epson, an 80-year-old company, almost, I think in 2022, you turned 80. Obviously, you've got lots of different kinds of products, from projectors to printers. There's even headwear devices for businesses. And with the FastFoto line, it's a way of archiving those precious memories, those paper photos that you may have. So with that in mind, Dan, who would you say this product is for exactly?
The FastFoto is really for anyone who has lots of old photos or a family member with lots of old photos, which from what we see is most of the population, it seems. And most everybody wants to be able to digitize, to protect, and share those.
All right. And then once they are on your computer or on your phone, then you can share them to social media, obviously. Is there a way like you can tag the photos by keyword? So in other words, does it also organize your photos, or is that something you would want another program for?
No, the FastFoto software, we designed it to make it really easy to organize. So you can definitely add tags when you're going to scan. So you could say Christmas party, but you could also add the actual year and the date. So this goes into the metadata of the file and means that when you're going and you're organizing and listing your photos by date, they will actually show up in the date of the events, not the date they're scanned. So if you scan some photos from the 70s, some photos from the 80s, they'll actually sort in order on your computer, no matter when you scanned them.
All right, Dan, so how much does the FastFoto FF680W photo scanner cost, and where can we learn more?
It's available for $5.99 at Best Buy, Office Depot, Staples, Amazon, and Micro Center. And you can always learn more at epson.com/fastphoto.
Awesome. And there you're going to see Shaquille O'Neal, who's an Epson spokesperson, with some photos of himself as a toddler. And I think his mom is in this picture as well.
Yes, she's been involved in some of our marketing. She's awesome.
Yeah, Lucille is her name.
That's right.
Lucille and her son Shaq. And you can see a video of the FastFoto in action with those kinds of photos. So really great stuff. Epson.com/FastFoto. Once again, it's spelled FastFoto. And you can learn more about it there. Dan, great to chat with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
When we return on Tech It Out, you're going to be the first to hear about TekyGo. It's spelled TekyGo. This is an ambitious, kids-based video game system that uses exercise in order to interact with the content. We'll learn how after this short break and what you need to get going, but parents are going to want to take note, no doubt. So stick with us. A lot more Tech It Out coming right up after this.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. This show is powered by ASUS. For those in search of incredible, ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. And that includes its line of award-winning laptops and desktops, monitors, smartphones, smartwatches, tablets, and much more. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. When it comes to little kids playing video games, parents often have two concerns. One is screen time, sitting for hours on end and playing games, not moving, eating snacks and such. The other issue is the kind of content the kids may be exposed to. Well, a new product is designed to combat both of those concerns, and it's called TekyGo. And joining us on the line to chat is Dean Horsfield. He's VP of Brand and Marketing for TekyGo. Welcome to the show, Dean. Good to chat with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Mark.
Why don't we jump right in? At a high level, what's TekyGo all about? And we should tell our listeners that TekyGo is spelled TekyGo.
Yeah, awesome. So TekyGo was it was born out of this need, when COVID hit and all the kids were stuck at home, they're all stuck on their tablets, right? We see this tablet culture and parents have been going crazy watching their kids hunched over a tablet. And while programs and everything have tried to come out and create learning opportunities, everything, we call that really passive learning. The kids just watching and not really engaging in the content. And so TekyGo came out and decided to kind of fuse this idea between video game or storytelling content, exercise, and learning. So the way we like to position it, it's kind of like a Peloton meets Sesame Street. And it's cool. And it's for kids right now, 6 and under. It will be expanding, but kids as young as a year and a half have had success playing our product. And so the idea is you take these really great stories, you build an engaging game around it, you incorporate a learning component that's age appropriate or learning development appropriate, and then you bring in action. So we're trying to tie in our product to very popular kids exercise pieces. And the first one we've brought to market is a trampoline. So you might have seen the trampolines with the bars on them that are meant to be safer for younger kids. They can bounce around. But most parents out there that are listening probably know they have one of these collecting dust in the garage somewhere because the kid jumps on it for a little while and then they get a little bit bored. And our product actually fuses this story building element, the games, and allows the kid to jump along on the trampoline, and the actions they take on the product get reflected on the TV or the game. So they become an active participant in the learning and the story process. And so that's where the ideas come about. And we have a number of other accessories that are coming next year. But this is that idea, no more kids on the couch. We don't want to see kids on the couch anymore. We don't want to see them hunched over the tablets, shoulders back, head straight. That's kind of what we like to say. And the kids engaging, exercising, and learning.
All right, so there's no controller. it's you just jumping around, or is there a kid-friendly game controller to interact with the content as well?
Good question. So there's a controller to navigate to which games you want to play, to look at your player profile, to look at some of your stats. But then when the game actually gets going, all of the controls happen on this trampoline. So the trampoline actually has a sensor. And I should mention, our product, you can either buy it with our trampoline or you can actually use it with your home trampoline. The one that I said was collecting dust can be converted into a TekyGo enabled product. And a sensor is positioned underneath the trampoline that can detect frequency, velocity, the intensity at which a kid is jumping. So it's interesting. We think of it as just one motion jumping, but we're able to, through the different motions that the kid takes, be able to create different activities that actually happen on the screen and dictate gameplay. So it's a really exciting product that way.
Since this is radio, perhaps you can give us an example of what the child may see on the screen, and what would you be prompted to do when you jump? Is it like an alphabet or counting, or would you jump higher if you want a story to go in a certain direction, that kind of thing?
Yeah, really good question. So I'll give two examples. One is on the like a 2-year-old side. It's a game called Baby Roo with the most addictive song. Parents are going to hate us, but we love it. And you jump along with Baby Roo, and Baby Roo goes through a story. So for younger children where decision making isn't exactly in their purview yet, but they can see what they do on the trampoline reflected on the game. Every time they jump, Baby Roo jumps. And as they jump faster, Baby Roo jumps faster and goes through this magical storyland. If you look at some of the more advanced games, we've got games where somebody's called World Explorer, where you go through and you travel through a world. You can affect speed and timing and some of the different actions. We have a second game that's following World Explorer, that's Baby Roo's Adventure, whereby when you get to certain destinations, stoplights as we call them, you're going to play little mini games where jumping becomes like a yes/no. It becomes a decision-making process. So if the child is jumping, that's them saying, yes, that's the right answer. If they're not jumping, they're waiting. That's saying, no, that's not the correct answer. So we're trying to, as the child grows, build in more decision-making. And as you pointed out, counting numbers, identifying shapes, spelling different words, whatever we can do to accelerate the learning process while the kid still has a lot of fun. We don't want them to know they're learning. That's the key, that they come away from it feeling like this was just a fun story adventure game.
We're going to continue learning about TekyGo after we take a short break, and I'm going to play devil's advocate and ask about the space you need to put a little trampoline in front of your TV. What if you live in a smaller home, a condo, an apartment? I'm curious to know what my guest Dean will say about that, as well as how many games are available, what their expansion plans are into 2022, and how the pricing works. So stick with us. You are listening to Tech It Out on the Radio America Network, also on this show. And speaking of games, later on, we're going to learn all about the new Temple Run game called Puzzle Adventure. This is playable on Apple Arcade, the very popular subscription service for $4.99 a month that lets you play hundreds of games with no ads and no in-app purchases on your iPhone and iPad and other devices. So we're going to learn what makes this Temple Run game a little different. Candy Crush fans, you're going to want to hear this. So stay with us. A lot more Tech It Out coming right up. We'll be right back.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out, everyone. It's been said good tech solves a problem. So we're learning about TekyGo, a new gaming platform for young kids. It encourages them to exercise in order to play, and it also teaches them concepts from the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s all the way to interactive storytelling to really give the kids the feeling that they are changing the story path. So great stuff. We're chatting with Dean Horsfield. He's VP of Brand and Marketing for TekyGo, which is spelled TekyGo. How easy is the trampoline to set up, whether you use yours or your own? And what if, just to play devil's advocate, what if you don't have enough room for a small trampoline in front of a TV? Maybe you're in a condo or something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the lucky thing is the kids' trampolines are really small. They're meant for small spaces. They take up significantly less space than some of the larger varieties. So we haven't seen too many issues in the condo. I live in a 600 square foot Toronto condo. So I know it very well. And when we were able to set it up, no problem.
That's big for Toronto.
Fair point. Yeah, exactly.
So it's about it would be smaller than like a coffee table.
It would take up exact amount of space as a coffee table.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yep. And in terms of ease of setup, that depends on which product. There are some of the standard ones that you see, on the Amazons and such. They require a few screws to create the build, and they don't fold down. Our version, if you were to choose to go with our bundle, actually just folds and clicks. It takes under 30 seconds. We have a great video on our website of a mother setting it up, and I think it took her about 20 seconds. So, and it does fold away. So it really depends on the trampoline you choose. Our premise really is, though, you don't have to use ours. We know a lot of parents have one of these already, and that's why we made it so that it can be expanded to other products. Like, get extra use out of that kids trampoline that you thought they were going to love, and give it a new life. And that's really why we decided to start with this trampoline, because we know that parents either have one or are thinking about getting one, and so they can work with their product or our own.
And it's pretty easy to just set up that sensor with your existing trampoline. You just place it underneath. Is there more to it?
Yep, you just place it underneath in the middle. That's all it takes, and then watch your kids go. In terms of the setup procedure, front to back with the portal, as we call it, the TekyGo portal, which is, I should mention, about the size of a standard hardback book. It's very small.
And that's the game system, if you will.
Yeah, so the game system, that portal is what will connect out to the various devices. Right now, the trampoline, next year a squeezy. We're even looking at creating a little kid's bike and things like that. I'm probably giving away too much information, but that portal will be your central focal point, because TekyGo is actually a character. So it's the brand name, but it's a character, and it's TekyGo is a robot that exists within the computers and the screens and the televisions of all the kids of the world. And through the portal, TekyGo is able to jump out, right? The kids yell 3, 2, 1, Techie, go. And we see all the kids do it. They love it. And TekyGo comes out and comes to play with the kids and go on adventures together. So this idea around TekyGo, again, was really built out of this idea that kids can be in control. They can be in charge. And TekyGo is a friend, not a teacher, right? And that the whole adventure is to do it together. And on that note, I will mention as well, one of our next products puts the parent working with the child, but the child gets to tell the parent what to do. So if the parent doesn't do it right, the mission's not going to go well. So we're really, again, trying to flip that concept whereby it's not parents, saying, go here, do this, do that. It's the kids now in a position to make decisions that affect outcomes. And we see this as a really important mission of ours, to bring kids to the forefront where they feel that level of empowerment and they don't feel that level of frustration through just purely learning, that learning is associated with fun and it becomes easier to consume. So a lot of exciting stuff coming.
How many games are included, and how do you add more to the TekyGo portal?
So the TekyGo portal is a subscription-based product. And once you're on the subscription, the very low subscription fee, and then all the games are included. And we're releasing new games on a regular rotation. One of our premises is to bring back TGIF. We call it TekyGo. It's Friday. And we're going to be releasing a new game every Friday once we get into about mid-2022. Right now on the platform with the trampoline, there's going to roll out this year with 20 games. And then, as I mentioned, we've got new games rolling out every month, and that's all included in the service. So I should mention there's also an app that comes along with the TekyGo subscription. It can be downloaded from the Google Store or the Apple Store. And the app it's got some things for the kids, but it's actually, this is the piece where the parents get to get involved. You're going to see how many times the kid jumped, how far they jumped in a day, how many hours they spent on different games. And what we're rolling out next year is we're working with childhood development specialists to help guide the parents on which games are going to develop which skills. So if you're looking at number skills, shapes, creativity, whatever it is, these development specialists are going to help us understand the learning component as well as the advanced, like the level of advancement the child is achieving by playing a specific game. So we're really excited about that piece. And then the child's going to get badges and rewards as well for achieving various levels of both physical activity as well as cognitive development. So we're really excited about that piece because the parents now can kind of get a real sense of what the child is accomplishing. And we think that's really important to keep the parents engaged.
Awesome. All right. So why don't we wrap up on cost? You did hint at a subscription there. So why don't you walk us through what it costs for the TekyGo portal, the subscription cost once again, and where we could learn more? Is there a dedicated website for TekyGo?
It's $159 for the TekyGo portal and the trampoline sensor. So this is the version that works with your at-home trampoline. If you'd like to buy our bundle, the bundle price is $289, and that comes with the TekyGo portal, the sensor, and a trampoline that we've produced in-house. Very high quality trampoline, and that's the one you'll see on the video on our website. So the subscription is $7.99 a month. And that includes all the premium content. And as a special promotion for this year, we're sending all of our TekyGo products out with a free 2 months subscription, premium subscription, so you can get a sense of what the platform's all about. You can visit us at TekyGo.com, where you'll get a whole list of resources, videos, blog posts from our childhood development specialists. And I should mention, all of our products come with free shipping and free returns. So risk-free trial, give it a shot in your house. You're going to love it.
All right, TekyGo.com, TekyGo.com. Dean, it's been great chatting with you. Congrats on the launch of this product. It sounds exciting.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Speaking of games, after this short break, we're going to learn all about the latest Temple Run game called Puzzle Adventure. It's a lot more like Candy Crush than it is an action game, a running game, like the other Temple Run games that you may have played. 2 billion downloads over the past decade. So this is a big deal when a franchise that big comes out with a new title. It's playable on Apple Arcade, so you're going to need an iPhone or an iPad, Apple TV or Mac in order to play this. But you're going to hear all about Temple Run Puzzle Adventure first. When we return on Tech It Out, we're going to catch up with the company that made it, called Imangi, based in Raleigh, North Carolina. In fact, we'll catch up with its CEO, Walter Devins. So stick with us. A lot more Tech It Out coming up. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. My goal every week is to break down geek speak into street speak. So stick with us. We continue to get our game on right after this.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS, the company that creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. And that includes its line of award-winning laptops. There's the ZenBook family, which is all about innovation. VivoBooks, great for students, lots of color, all-purpose laptops. StudioBooks for creative types, for content creators. Chromebooks, those looking to save a little bit of cash. And then ExpertBooks for business-grade laptops. Check them all out at asus.com/US/radio. That's ASUS.com/US/radio. Believe it or not, the 10-year-old Temple Run video game franchise for mobile devices has been downloaded more than 2 billion times, making it a huge franchise for Imangi. That's the company behind the hit game franchise. And now Temple Run is back, but with a bit of a different twist, in partnership with Scopely, another big mobile game publisher. To tell us all about Temple Run Puzzle Adventure, we're joined by Walter Devins. He's Chief Executive Officer at Imangi Studios. Welcome to the show, Walter. Good to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
And you're based in Raleigh, right? Great town.
Yeah, we are. Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, love it. All right. Now, before we talk about Temple Run Puzzle Adventure, please tell us a bit about the franchise. It really is a decade old already.
Yeah, hard to believe. 10 years, right? Time flies when you're having fun, and we've been having fun. You know, it's interesting when you think about the 10 years. 10 years ago, 2011, the initial release of Temple Run, gaming was very different, and gaming looks different even now. But for older gamers like me, our first gaming experience was a Nintendo, or maybe later gamers with an Xbox or a PlayStation, or even PC gaming. Well, mobile gaming is more and more popular, and it was really taking off 2010, 2011. And for many people, it's their first exposure to gaming, or it was a secondary device that they played in gaming. So Temple Run was just an awesome entry into that market. And for many people, it was their first mobile gaming experience. And one thing we like to pride ourselves on with the Temple Run franchise is it's basically, it's kind of kid friendly. It's also, it's not gratuitously violent. It's pretty appropriate for all ages. Although our demographics are evenly spread, it's a very easy, fun, safe game to play. So therefore, it's a lot of people's first game. And we've had a couple of people reach out to us that it was, in fact, their first mobile gaming experience and first gaming experience that they ever had. Mm-hmm. So it's a really cool honor that we've had in that. And since then, we've released Temple Run 2. And then with Temple Run 2, we started treating it as a live game, as they say in the marketplace. So more maps, more characters, more content, more challenges. And for a lot of people, it's a constant thing for them to come back to and check out every day or every other day. Some people like to check the news and politics. I don't. Some people like to check the stock market. That's depressing sometimes. Some people like to come in and play Temple Run 2 and get their daily challenges in. And it's a nice, stable way for them to have some achievements and some goals.
And for those who haven't yet played a Temple Run game, it's what we call an endless runner. So you're running in a direction and you swipe to go left or right, or you flick up to jump, or you swipe down to slide, and it gets increasingly more challenging. It gets faster, different obstacles and traps that you need to navigate around. It's a lot of fun. But now there's a new twist on Temple Run, and it's called Puzzle Adventure. There's sort of a hint in there. Tell us about it.
Well, you've matched where I was going to go rather well, trying to do a pun in there.
The word match, I get it, yeah.
Yeah, so you've nailed down the gameplay mechanics for Temple Run and Temple Run 2. And in the match 3 category, it's a little bit of a slower pace. So Temple Run and Temple Run 2 is very reaction, it's very action. The adventure kind of speeds up and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And it really tests your reflexes. And for the match 3 kind of game, basically for those who may not have ever played a match 3 game, kind of looks like a puzzly type board with lots of different color tiles and cool little icons. And you're trying to match 3 in a row by dragging some of those little tiles all over the place. And then generally when you match 3 of a color or 3 of a kind, it'll clear that row or that column. And eventually you want to clear the board. And they ramp up in difficulty. And it's a very kind of like thinking slow, kind of strategic type of way to clear the board. And that's the main gameplay in this game. But along the way, what you're doing is you're helping Scarlett. She's one of our adventurer runners from Temple Run 2 to clear a running path that she's actually on. That's the meta part of the game. And she's running towards the temple, discovering characters, trying to grab the idol. So it's kind of a more slowed, zen, chilled out process of the Temple Run adventure. And there's a lot of fans out there in the match 3 genre that just love this type of game. So it's kind of letting Temple Run come into that world, but also for new players who haven't ever discovered this kind of gameplay, it's a slower, more zenned out kind of chill gameplay that is quite interesting.
All right. So I know you're not naming names, but a Candy Crush may come to mind where you've got these colorful items on a board that you need to match. As you said, at least 3 in a row. You can even do with your game anyways, 2x2 like a square. And there's other shapes that unlock different power-ups. And the idea is to clear the board within a certain number of moves. And that's where the challenge comes in. And there's other challenges like bringing an object to drop it down to the very bottom of the screen, or destroying some vials that might be beside these items, or breaking ice. And there's other really fun challenges. And I understand you've got lots of levels, like more than 1,000 so far, correct?
Yeah, more than 1,000, and more are coming every month at a very decent cadence. And believe it or not, there's some people that burn through that so fast, which is really impressive to me, because I know as I've been playing through the game, there's some puzzles that I'm just stuck on. I'm like, how can I even get past this? And I just look at it, I have to put it down, I go do something else, and I come back and I'm still stuck at it. And then I come back again, and finally I'm able to clear it. And I got to say, there's a nice level of satisfaction with that. Is, I'm like, there's no way I could ever pass this in this amount of moves. It's impossible. And then I put it down and I eventually come back and I'm able to pass it. And it just feels good.
When we return on Tech It Out, I'm going to ask Walter Devins, CEO of Imangi, what makes Temple Run Puzzle Adventure unique? Or is it just another Candy Crush clone? And what do you need to get going? It's an Apple Arcade title, but what does that mean exactly? We'll get to all of that when we return on Tech It Out. Stay with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We're chatting with Walter Devins, Chief Executive Officer at Imangi Studios based in Raleigh. This is a new Match 3 game playable on Apple Arcade. We'll get more into that in a moment. How is it different than other Match 3 games? Talk to us about the tie-in to the Temple Run franchise. It kind of has like a Mayan theme, right?
Right. So first and foremost, very different from other Match 3 games. And you've named some of them that are out there. There's Candy Crush, there's Homescapes. Well, really, Temple Run is the sense of adventure. We like to think of our franchise as fun, wonder, danger, and adventure. So it really gives you that sense of exploration, danger at every turn, and really discovering new things. And a lot of our tiles are not just pieces of candy or pieces of home decor. They're cool icons that can be collected and that you would see if you were out searching for treasure out in the Temple Run world. And this particular map that Scarlett's running in right now is really a jungle-based theme. So in Temple Run, the first one was a swamp-based theme down in like South America. Temple Run 2 started with a really high in the Andes kind of feeling Mayan, Inca type of map. And then we've released others over time. And this is a really cool jungle type world that Scarlett's running through.
Without further ado, here's a little clip from Temple Run Puzzle Adventure. Obviously very whimsical. That's a clip from Temple Run Puzzle Adventure. Before I played that clip, you were going to talk about one other unique feature of this game compared to other match 3 games out there.
Yeah. So one cool thing, and really leaning into the heritage and the brand of Temple Run, is really rewards speed and skill. Just like in the Temple Run and Temple Run 2, you had to dodge and jump and slide, and it increased in difficulty. This game also rewards that speed and skill in solving these puzzles. So you do have your time to solve some of these puzzles, but the faster you solve them, the better rewards and the more that you can progress and move on. So it's a little different flavor in some of the other match 3 games out there. So if you've tried match 3 in the past and it hasn't been for you, and you're more of an action-based player, this could be a new arsenal to put in your daily game rotation.
And there's 3 different parts of the world map. There's the Temple of Awakening, which I completed. Then there's Hall of Wonders, which I'm almost done. And then Sunken Temple is the 3rd part. Is that right?
That's right. Wow. Congratulations. You're a solid power player there.
And then Scarlett chats with, right now she's accompanied by another adventurer, this dude that she's hanging out with. And there is some banter back and forth between the levels. So there is really a story here. It's not just the puzzles themselves.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a kind of nice light story. And what's kind of interesting about this is the first time that our characters have ever communicated, broken that 4th wall or kind of talk to the players a little bit, which is kind of cool. And we have a lot more ideas of other things we'll be working on in the future here. But yeah, there's a nice little light story and some purpose and some drive and, a little bit of intrigue, and it kind of helps you along the way.
All right, Walter, as we wrap up, let's chat about how our listeners can play Temple Run Puzzle Adventure. It's an Apple Arcade title, which is a subscription-based platform that Apple has where you can play hundreds of games for a very low price per month. I think it's $4.99. And you can play it on iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, and Mac.
Correct.
And you use your fingertip on the screen for iPhone or iPad, which is the platform I'm playing it on. And then for the Mac or Apple TV, it's a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah, I kept trying to touch my TV here at home, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize it wasn't working.
I'm sure lots of kids have done that too.
Yeah. And the smudges on my TV show that I've done that a bunch of times too. No, yeah, you use Bluetooth controller, and it's a little different of a play, but some players really, really like it, and it's worked really well.
All right. So again, it's a subscription-based game on Apple Arcade. So what's the best place to learn more about it?
Apple Arcade has a cool storefront where it really kind of shows more of the game and kind of what it's about, but they can also go to our website, imangi.com. IMANGI.com. They can check out more about this game, other games, and kind of what we're up to as a studio and kind of what's happening with Temple Run.
Great to chat with you, Walter. Congrats on the launch of Temple Run Puzzle Adventure. I hope it does really well for you and Scopely, your partner. Great stuff. Thank you.
It's a match made in heaven. Thanks.
Again, it's a match 3 game. Get it? Match made in heaven. Yeah, that's more what I had in mind. All right. Before we wrap up another episode of Tech It Out, and once again, welcome to the WTBQ listeners and those on WGHT. That's in the New York, Northern Jersey, Penn, and Orange County, New York areas. Welcome to Tech It Out for the first time. Hope you enjoyed it. Before we wrap up, if you are considering buying a laptop or desktop this holiday season, just a quick reminder to back up your important files on a regular basis. I can't tell you how many radio listeners write me saying that something happened to their computer, it was dropped or it was stolen or they got a nasty virus or something. So I always recommend Western Digital or SanDisk drives for a good offline solution. They just plug into the side or back of your PC or Mac. You can download free software that automatically backs it up every night, and then you're good to go. westerndigital.com has more. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. I look forward to catching up with you next time for another episode of Tech It Out. Be well. Bye-bye.